What's up, everybody? How's it going? Man, my eyes are red. So red because I've just been reading all of this. I am no lawyer. By the way, let's start off. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a little dude on the internet just talking, okay? We're just going to go through this. I've highlighted some things. I have no idea about any of it, okay? I'm just some guy on the internet. Don't take my advice, legal advice. I'm not going to tell you to do anything legal. We're just going to go over it. But just so you know, I'm not a lawyer. All right, guys. I play a doctor on TV. That's about it for me. But hopefully everybody's doing great. We got some update in Richard Hart's case. And we're going to take a look at that tonight. So hopefully you guys are all ready for that. Let's see. So is this definitely legal advice? Yeah, no legal advice here at all. And you gotta do one of these. Howdy. Wait for a little bit. This is kind of on the fly, but I know people want to get an update on what's going on. And again, I have no idea. This is just we're gonna look at it, right? And that's about it. Let's look at some of the highlighted things that I've checked out. Let's go ahead and check the price first and foremost. All right. First and foremost, let's check out the old price arena. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so we're down 0.2%. We're down 1% on Pulse X. Incentive, we're about the same. And for Hex, we're about 0.32. Hey, are sellers exhausted? Well, let's find out. Yeah, let's find out. But first, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Do I think this is good for Richard? I'm not sure. This is I'm no judge. I have no idea. Some of the things that the SEC has come out with sounds plausible. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, they show where they're coming with it. Some of the things that they've charged him, right? Some of the things like the fraud, not sure. All right, but on other things, maybe they have something there. But I haven't really looked at Richard's rebuttal too much, honestly. I checked it out just a little bit. This is what the SEC filed, I believe, in July. It might not have been. I don't. This is July 8th. Remember when there was it was due, and everybody was celebrating on Twitter. I believe this is what they wrote in July 8th, and then Richard replied back. But I don't know. This is one of the things that I asked Nuclear Herbs, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. If he does in the middle of this, then I will. But I don't know if Richard is, or if it was the SEC filed, and then Richard was able to see it, and then he could dispute it or whatever. But if that's the case, it would be better that we get a look at Richard's what he said after this. Again, I haven't looked into that very much. They've dropped this off like an hour and a half ago, and I've read there's 60 pages plus a whole bunch of exhibits, and I've probably read come on TV, bro. Oh, sorry. So I've looked at, there's 60 pages for this, and there's like 6 or 7 exhibits. I've looked at most of the exhibits. So one of them was Dev Kyle, if you know. He talks about his how he worked on Hex and so forth, which by the way he did for free. Dev Kyle, I mean, at least on his statement that he's talking about on there, he said he did it for free. He worked on Hex and developed Hex for free, which is crazy. But because we all thought, okay, he says he's doing it for free, but is he doing it for free? This is the thing. Most people, we're very skeptical people, especially in crypto, and as we should be. Don't get me wrong, because most of the time, if you throw a dart at a dartboard in crypto, it's either a scam, people are lying to you, all of this stuff, right? But according to these papers, Kyle did it for free. It does say that Richard gifted him USDC in these papers, like 2 years after Hex had like been out. I think in like 2021, end of 2021, so like top of the bull market, to buy a watch. But he ended up. I can't remember. He was gonna buy the watch, or he gifted him the watch. I can't remember the exact. We can look at it, but yeah, those were the only things that I saw that were really were like, okay. But let's go ahead and check it out. This is one of the things. So it's crazy. So for Hex, it goes into $678 million worth of ETH tokens to buy Hex were between 2019 and 2020. So 678 million ETH dollars was given in the adoption amplifier. Now, how much ETH was that worth? How much was ETH? $80 at one point. So, man, he must be sitting on a whole bunch of ETH. Because now, just imagine what it was. Because ETH has gone up, what? 20 times since $80? It's like $2,000. Or wait, is that? Yeah, 20x. So, I mean, 20x, whatever that is. Right? That's pretty crazy. That's just in the Hex. So it says, it's talking about how Hex, touting a feature of crypto network, and it just talks about Hex, right? And he talks about how Richard repeatedly emphasized that owning Hex would lead to profit for investors, stating, for example, if you want to get rich, Hex is built for that. Now, I would say that he was talking about all cryptocurrencies, but if they want to say, oh, Hex is, I think doesn't this mean that they added that in, that he's insinuating that Hex was built for that? So, but there you go. Hart publicized and personally undertook efforts that he claimed would make Hex successful. I don't remember that. Hart publicized and personally undertook efforts that he claimed would make Hex successful. Now, did that happen? Did Richard ever undertake efforts that Richard claimed would make Hex successful? I don't remember any of that. He published a myriad of how-to videos designed to stoke interest and investment in Hex. Now, I don't remember those either because I came out with tutorial videos, and maybe, but what is it like? You can't sell your own thing. I just don't understand. I really just don't understand some of the things. Like, okay, let's say they get him for securities on that. It's like you can't promote your own thing. You can't make a how-to video on how to buy the thing that you made. And if that labels as security, man, that's pretty messed up, right? Like maybe we should make the laws a little bit different if you can't promote your own thing to show people how to actually get it. Whatever. And he designed incentives to lure additional investors into Hex. You guys remember those incentives? After the Hex offering, Hart continued to promote Hex and the Hex ecosystem by publicly touting Hex, encouraging investors to buy and stake Hex, and advancing the notion that the upcoming launch of Pulse Chain Pulse X would generate profits for investors. Again, where did this happen? They do have complaints. They're going to show you in this complaint on 39 and 30 or 43. It has it. I don't have it up, but they're going to say this is where he did it. I don't ever remember Richard saying he would generate profits for investors, but if you guys do, let me know in the comments. I'm sure that who believes the hardest? Me. 10,000x ain't successful. Yeah. What's up, good people? What's up, Blockaroni? Richard still hasn't bought a country. He has 3.5 years, and I'm suing. Yeah, exactly. Nope. No. Yeah, exactly. We should all ban Richard Hart or sue him because he said he was going to buy a country. Between July 2021 and April 2022, Hart raised more than $354 million in securities offerings to develop Pulse Chain, a purported fork of Ethereum. In the process he called sacrificing, Hart instructed Pulse Chain investors to send him various forms of crypto assets in order to receive Pulse. I don't remember. Well, so you got Pulse, right? But he also said you're not going to receive anything, and somebody might airdrop you a token at some point, right? But Pulse Chain's native token at some point in the future. To avoid Pulse being classified as a security, under the Howey test, Hart referred to investments the deposits of crypto assets by investors and the return to promise to deliver them as pulse tokens. He referred to them as sacrifices that would yield nothing in return. No, he said that they would start out at zero, if you can remember. They didn't say that they would yield nothing. He just said that they would start out at zero. They could become valuable, but they would, and maybe that's what they're saying. You know, I'm a dummy. I'm literally a Marine. Eating crayons is my specialty. So sure, big news, but bigger news is Hex gay? Is Hex gay? Yeah, we heard it from 6ix9ine today. Let's see. So however, the statements that Hart made emphasizing that investors would profit from Pulse token and directly tying that to profit development of Pulse chain contradicted those disclaimers. And so between 2021 December and April 2022, he raised $676 million in securities offering to develop PulseX. Now, he never said it was to develop PulseX. He said it was for freedom of speech, right? He never said it was to develop the PulseX platform. Does it say develop Pulse chain up here too? Yep, offering to develop Pulse chain. So this is a big misstep in the case, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a freaking lawyer, but he never said that he was taking the money in to develop the coin, right? He just said we're sacrificing for freedom of speech and freedom of movement, and then if you did that, somebody might see those those addresses that sacrificed, and they could airdrop you some tokens at some point. $0 tokens, right? Isn't that pretty much what he said? He never said, in my opinion. Now we could go and look at these complaints, but he never said it was to develop Pulse chain. I never heard that. And I've watched Richard's videos, probably, number two in the amount of people that have watched it. There's some weirdo out there that probably has watched him more than me, that's got Richard Hart posters all over his wall and, lights a candle in Richard Hart's honor every night. But, I'm right behind him. Well, it did yield nothing. Someone just decided to airdrop tokens to the donators and sacrifices. Exactly. Admins, do your job. Oh, is somebody being a douche? I took a lot of poor people's money. RH took a lot of poor people's money. Okay. This ain't getting dismissed. Yeah, probably not. I don't think it'll get dismissed. That's not something that I really don't care if it doesn't get dismissed. I would rather it go the full, him actually fight it. A lot of people thought it was going to get dismissed, but, if it was dismissed, one of the big things here, we'll just take a look at this so we don't forget it. But the last statement in this is, for the foregoing reasons, Hart motion to dismiss should be denied. If the court grants any part of the motion, the commission respectfully requests to leave to amend to address those deficiencies identified by the court in the ruling of motion. So this is pretty much asking, if they do dismiss some of the things that they're coming up with, that they should allow it to them to be able to amend it and go back to court, right? This is one of the reasons why, if it's dismissed with prejudice, that's a good thing. They can't reopen the case or anything. But if it's dismissed without prejudice, they can bring more charges to this. Maybe they've found something else or whatever. From what I've taken, again, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I've taken is what they've charged Richard with currently is that's what they have to go with. They can't just keep adding new things to this, further along. Not that there is, but, if there was, or, we found this, now we have to get him for this. Apparently they can't do that. I have no idea if that's true or not, but prejudice dismiss is pretty much it's a closed book and you can't reopen it. So they're pretty much asking if it can, if they do get dismissed, let us amend it so we can actually go after, different things or these things that you don't dismiss it on. So, All right, so some of the things Pulse Chain and Pulse X did not. This is. I thought this was funny. Pulse Chain and Pulse X did not launch, and investors did not receive Pulse or Pulse X tokens until May 12th, 2023. More than a year after the end of the offering period for a Pulse Chain and Pulse X. Yeah, I know. We definitely felt it, and I feel like it was more than a year, but maybe not. In interim, the value of Pulse Chain and Pulse X investments depended solely on the efforts of Hart and his team of developers. Well, how would it the investment depend solely? So the value of Pulse Chain and Pulse X was zero when it started out, right? So it depended solely on the efforts of Hart and his team of developers for a $0 coin. $0 coin. I don't know. Who were undertaking efforts to successfully launch the platform and the token. So fraud on the Pulse Chain investors. While he was raising funds for the Pulse Chain investors, Hart used at least $12.1 million of their sacrificed funds for personal luxury purchases, including watches, cars, and he calls the largest. They're really mad about this. And what he calls the largest black diamond in the world. Ugh. What this guy calls, I mean, it's not true or it's not on the internet or anything. What this guy calls the largest black diamond in the world. Okay, some people are just mad that they're poor, it sounds like. Hart often spoke about the efforts that he and his developers were making to bring Pulse Chain online, and he often stated that that the purpose of Pulse Chain investors' sacrifice was to support free speech. I mean, that's what he said, right? And that's what we did. Yet Hart never disclosed that he was instead actually using millions of dollars worth of their funds for his own personal luxury purchases. Now, I find this funny because it's like, did he have to tell us that? Is that a securities law? If he said, "Hey guys, you know that money you just gave me the other day that you sacrificed? I just bought the Ferrari with that." What is that a requirement? Again, I'm not a lawyer. It might be a requirement. I just find it funny that it's like, okay, we sacrificed our money, right, for freedom of speech, freedom of movement, right? We were, somebody was going to airdrop us tokens, and they were going to be valueless tokens. Now, that's all we cared about, right? Those three things. When those three things happened, which they all did, right? We got valueless tokens. We sacrificed for both of these things. We didn't care what he did with the money. Did you care what he did with the money? Not me. I didn't care what he did with the money. He could buy freaking, somebody said an island, right? He was talking about how he wanted to buy an island. Since he's not buying the island, is that over for him? It's all over. Bob Casey is a loser. Oh, where's the evidence to prove any of this? True. Additionally, before he's made these purchases, Hart transferred the Pulse Chain investors fund through an extensive, this is what I thought was funny. So back and forth transactions apparently aimed at obfuscating the path of origins of funds. So down further, I even have it. Of course, personal jurisdiction. So this is saying that they have personal jurisdiction over Richard. Let's see. So gosh, I don't want to get too far into it because then we'll lose our spot, but I'll just tell you. So down further, they're talking about how, somebody used mixers and they were sending $26 million through this, and they were, over 50 times or something like that to obfuscate. It's really hard to say, say it out loud right now. It's really hard to actually say. Obfuscate. So, what I think is funny is like, so you can't, if they're saying, oh, it's illegal, if you're trying to obfuscate transactions and trying to do this so people can't monitor your what you're doing, right? And it's like, so just be aware of that, guys. This is in the paper. It's pretty much saying like, if you transfer too many times, you don't want people knowing where your money is, and you're trying to use a mixer to be a little bit hidden, your transactions hidden, which is fine. Who cares? None of the investors care that Richard can hide his freaking money, right? Or obfuscate it. Do you care? I don't care what Richard does with the damn money, right? I don't get it. And I'm one of the, not the top investors. Don't get me wrong. I put in, not very much into Pulse Chain and Pulse X. But I've been here. One of the, I support it. And it's like, dude, I don't care what he did with the damn money. So, show me somebody out there. It's like, oh, he did this. It's like, dude, I don't know, whatever. Then after closing of the Pulse Chain offering, more than $26.5 million of funds were transferred from that private wallet in a series of back and forth transactions, resulting in approximately $26 million in investors' fund being deposited into private digital wallet. Next, it appears if Hart transferred or directed the transfer of $26 million into investor funds through a crypto asset mixer, a program to facilitate anonymous transactions by obfuscating their origin, destinations, and counterparties, and through at least 50 intermediary wallets before ending up on 3 purported crypto asset platforms. Following the mixer transactions, Hart misappropriated $12.1 million I mean, this is crazy. It's like he has a bit, like, if you look at those numbers that we just said, $678 million in 2019 Ethereum, so 80 to like what, $400 or something like that. This much of Ethereum, so probably $1 billion at least of Ethereum currently. He has $354 million of sacrifice funds, and so $1 billion of PulseX and Pulse Chain. And you're complaining about $12.1 million being bought on luxury goods? Like, what is he supposed to do with the money? Literally, what is he supposed to do with the money? I honestly have no idea. Like, he can't buy anything? As of 2023, Pulse and Pulse X are practically worthless. This is what I find the greatest. As of July 2023, Pulse and Pulse X are practically worthless due to their declines in their value. Because you freaking sued Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, and Richard Hart. You did this. We were sitting pretty at like 4 or 5 cents. Yes, it wasn't the best, but it was bear market, right? We were in a bear market. Everything goes down 80, 90%. You sued us, and guess what? Everybody get freaked out. Like, what are they? They're literally talking shit, dude. Like, oh, they're practically worthless. Then why are you suing them? They're not worthless to me. They're not worthless to me. I have, and they're probably not worthless to you. Practically worthless, like, screw you, dude. Screw you, freaking SEC. That's like a slap in the face to all the investors. They're supreme leaders. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's all flimsy and weak if you actually understand the technology. True. The mixing part is probably the only part that might get RH. Nah, you can mix he's not a U.S. citizen, I don't believe. He might pay his taxes here, I don't know. But it's not illegal to use a mixer. I don't think it's illegal to use one. You guys press the sold button. Yeah. Well, you guys press the... Yeah, exactly. SEC run by liars and thieves. For real, dude. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? You're going to say that that the price is down because, oh, yeah, it's practically worthless. It's like, yeah, because you're suing us. What did you think was going to happen? Like, there's so much FUD because you guys freaked out. Like, it's on everybody's mind, right? We don't know what you're going to do. Anti-laundering rules are gay. Yeah, I agree. Ladies, liquor, leverage, and that okay to spend on. Yes, exactly. Coins go from zero value to having a value is definitely not a loss of value. Hex is the only coin you can use to argument for. True. So here we go. So Hart's efforts were directed at investors worldwide, including specifically within the United States. So they pretty much talk about how Richard came to the United States and promoted on Fret and Fish, or Fret and Frish, Fit and Fresh, Fresh and Fit. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I don't ever watch them. I thought it was the cringiest show. Before watching it, during the this is what how I viewed Fresh and Fit. Cringe before I knew that Richard was going on there. Entirely cringe while he was on the stream, and then cringe afterwards. It was just I've been straight across the board just cringed out by these guys. So yeah, they're talking about that Richard targeted, which I would dispute. Richard didn't target U.S. investors. I think that, if anybody, look at all of the buses in the U.K. or the taxis in the U.K. Did that happen in the U.S.? Did we get any billboards that were promoted by Richard? And I don't know if those were by him. But I remember there was newspapers in the UK, again, taxis, buses, stuff like that. And I don't know if those were by Richard, honestly. But, geez, like, he directed it at us. I don't know. Because he streamed on YouTube. Pretty much that's what they're trying to say. Live streams. Let's see. Hart's virtual appearance at U.S. events. So he's talking about Pulse, whatever Matty Allen's was. That's what he's pretty much they're talking about here. Virtually. So you can't even virtually appear in another in-person conference to 3,000 investors. Again, I think that this is so lame that you can't even just talk to people online without being, oh, you're trying to do this. It's like, dude, why can't, I don't get it. If this is not a security, which I don't think that it is, then he can promote whatever the hell he wants online, right? Crazy. Let's see. Hart personally promoted Hex and Pulse Chain while in the United States. So this talks about when he came over to Fresh and Fit. Standard review. All right, let's go here. The court has personal jurisdiction over Hart. So one of the big things that Richard or that people were saying is that they might get a dismissal just on this. But we'll just read it. I have no idea. Hart's purposeful availment of the United States by creating a market for the offer, sale, and purchase of the Hart securities here. Hart Securities. Now, I am glad they're not using Pulse Chain, Pulse X as the names anymore. Hart thus has the necessary minimum contacts with the United States to support the court's exercise of personal jurisdiction over him. With these contacts in the United States demonstrate that Hart should reasonably have anticipated the possibilities of being hailed into court in the United States. So you're saying he has minimum contacts. It looks like, thank you. Okay, here we go. What is this? Oh, okay, here we go. Richard just tweeted. Let's go ahead and look at Richard's tweet first. 11 of my lawyers are fighting for your rights. We are defending open source software and especially open source blockchain publishing software from the SEC attacks. The SEC sued the PulseX, Hex, and PulseChain publishing software, naming the software as defendants. Suing code is like suing an idea. The briefing in support of motion to dismiss has now been submitted to the court and is on public record. Next up, oral arguments, October 24th. Code is speech. Blockchains are speech. Speech is a protected human right. Freedom of movement and assembly are also protected human rights. If you publish your belief in these ideals publicly, you should not be punished, nor should any free digital recognition you receive. May the honorable court protect your rights from the unelected bureaucrats that seek to harm you. Free speech isn't free if you beg for permission first. Brief. Okay, so I'm guessing Bunga? Oh, that's not Bunga. I thought that was a Bunga. I thought we were going to get hit with a Bunga. What is this? Let me click it. I'm not supposed to click crazy links, but hey, here we are. All right, so this is Richard's argument, his reply, which I think that we should take a look at it, but like I said, I've read like 100 pages in an hour and a half, which, they scanned them. All right. As you can see. Okay, here, contrary to Hart's assertions, Hart cannot avoid court's jurisdiction by simply relying on the fact that he lives abroad. Here, the court can assert specific jurisdiction over Hart because of the contacts with the United States that can relate directly to the SEC's allegations regarding Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX. As noted, the first prong of the personal jurisdiction test for a non-resident considers a defendant's purposeful actions within directed toward the United States. So they're pretty much saying that he directed his selling at the United States. Like I said, I don't know if that means you can't direct it at all at the United States, but in my opinion, he had a lot of stuff in the UK or we did. I don't even know. I honestly have no idea if it was Richard. Everybody thinks that everything that went on was Richard, right? We all thought that until we all like started coming together. That's what I thought was funny. It was like, oh man, Richard's doing this, Richard's doing this. So then I've met people and they're like, no, I did that. You know what I mean? So giving Richard all of the credit, he just doesn't deny it, right? And I don't think that he keeps up with this stuff, honestly. So we're always like, oh, look what Richard did. And he just, just goes with it. As the Second Circuit recently held, personal jurisdiction over foreign defendants is proper where they purposefully availed themselves of the U.S. promoting the digital assets as issued the SEC's investigation of the U.S.-based consumers and investors. Hart's conduct easily satisfies this test and distinguishable. He engaged in conduct that was directed at the U.S. and targeted the U.S. as a market for the Hart securities by extensively promoting and marketing the Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX offerings specifically and directly at U.S. investors, including by traveling here to do so. And Hart, okay, so again, I don't know if he traveled all over the world, right? Like he can't come to the U.S. at all. This is just crazy to me. Like the laws are so corrupt if you can't even promote the thing that is just like an idea. This is literally an idea. He had an idea. Imagine some of these freaking meme coins that somebody makes, okay? This is what I want to say. Imagine these meme coins that all these guys are making. By the way, if you see this and you're a meme coin maker or you're somebody, be aware. It doesn't look like it's good outcome. The SEC wants to ruin ideas at this point. They don't even want you to step foot in America or say, hey, I'm on the internet. Guess what? That's directed right at the U.S. You're on the internet and on YouTube? Nope, you're out of here, buddy. You can't talk to the U.S. customers. It's like, what do we live in? We got some kind of, China wall. What is the China firewall? Are we supposed to have that? We can't discuss any ideas. We can't buy things as adults. As an adult man, I gotta get told by this bald-headed freak named Gary Gensler what I can and can't buy. How about I can buy whatever I want? You know how many scams are out there right now that have scammed people? There's probably 50 rug pulls that have happened today. You think those guys are ever going to get any kind of court hearings or any litigation against them? No. The only reason Richard is getting it is because somebody complained and somebody's a little bitch. All right, that's it. That is it. Because their thing went down. They probably bought it 40 cents and it went down to 4. And they're like, I'm not holding this. I've held it for 3 months. They said I was going to get rich. So they went and complained. PulseX, Pulse Chain, and Hex are ideas, right? Just like Dogecoin is an idea. I don't understand. And Hart's promotional efforts included the virtual appearance at Hex conference before a live audience in Las Vegas, which was during the offering periods of Pulse Chain and PulseX, and while Hex was being traded in the secondary market. Now, this just blows my mind. Remember how they were like, oh, well, he's promoting it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, look, 3,000 other people showed up, and it wasn't just for Richard Hart. It was Pulse Convention, right? That wasn't Richard Hart putting it on. It was, I don't even know who put it on, so I don't want to say who put it on. But 3,000 people showed up to this thing, however many viewers on live stream, and it wasn't Richard that put it on. I don't understand how this is even a thing. He didn't even put it on. Hey, Hexa, what's up, Addison Thunder? Stop saying patriotic shit. You're scaring us. Yeah. All right. Prior to the launch of Pulse Chain and PulseX, Hart also appeared virtually at another in-person conference in Las Vegas called PulseCon, so the other one was what? Hex conference. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I get them mixed up. They're every 3 weeks, so I had to set myself straight. PulseCon, Hex conference, Hex Conference 3, Hex, we gotta get right in, which was attended by about 3,000 people, where he promoted the Pulse Chain offering and discussed additional developments and features that were planned for Hex. Now, this is what I think is crazy. Developments and features that were planned for Hex, which was trading on secondary markets at the time. What? What are they talking about? Which they do have a complaint here, which I wish it would just link to it, because I don't even know how to read this. 8 through 10 ID. What does that mean? Okay, but I don't. That's crazy. It's like, what developments and features that you could plan for Hex is literally finished code. Oh, sorry, Hexong, I didn't see your thing. Sorry. Grew up being told how free we are. What a meme, dude. For real. This is gross. Thank you for the donations, Hexcon. I've been staring at my screen. Hart clearly understood he was speaking directly to the live United States audience gathered in Las Vegas when he appeared before them to promote these assets, reflecting purposeful direction into the United States to encourage U.S. investment into Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX. I literally didn't know that was illegal. I know they're trying to put the jurisdiction thing on him, but holy jeez, dude. You can't even talk to U.S. citizens anymore about your thing that's not a security. It wasn't a security at the time. Not that it is now. I have an idea. I can't talk to you in the U.S. about it, okay? You guys are excluded. I have to go talk to other people. What the finding purposeful availment of the forum based on Facebook communications directed towards the part of the overall market strategy. Again, this wasn't even him putting it on. They invited him to a freaking Pulse convention and he talked to it. He didn't put it on. How is that his fault? Right? I don't get it. Moreover, Hart also contends in his motion that the SEC has not alleged that Hart ever set foot in the United States. Hart did, in fact, physically enter the United States. Okay, this just says when he came. In 2022. Let's see. So this is what I think is funny. They're talking about on the Fresh and Fit. For example, during Hart's August 2022 interview, one of the messages from one of the messages from the viewers in the live stream chat, which was read on air. No, not on air. Pulse Chain will make billionaires/millionaires. More billionaires/millionaires than Ethereum. And Hex is bigger than Bitcoin. Somebody, that's it. The gallows for Richard. Somebody messaged that, guys. Somebody had the audacity to message that. Can you believe that? I mean, find the guy. We need to find the guy. What do we do with him? We put him in like one of those things, the stocks. We put him in the stock for the day, throw tomatoes at him, or what are we doing? What are we doing to this guy that said that? We need to find him. Because he's done for. Crazy. All right, Hart even designed EHEX, ETHEX.com website interface he owns that allowed investors to directly engage in secondary market transactions of Hex tokens through the Uniswap platform. Holy jeez, guys. You can't do that. What is this even? Might have been me. Sounds like something I'd say. Yeah. It's the Matrix. They have jurisdiction over U.S. citizens. I get it. But what did we do? Jurisdiction over what? We didn't even... none of this was illegal. He can talk to whoever he wants. Unless it's a security, right? That's where the big thing is. If it's a security, of course... Yeah, maybe he was, these things. But it hasn't been delegated as a security. He can talk to whoever he wants. That's what I think is crazy. Further, the complaint pleads that an individual in Brooklyn invested in Pulse Chain with the expectation that he would earn profit through the investment based on Hart's sentiment and his efforts to develop Pulse Chain. So Mr. Brooklyn boy... get out of here. I mean, we all know what comes from Brooklyn. All right. We've seen it on the news. This is a wrecked Brooklyn boy. Let's see. At least 2 of these investors specifically learned of the offerings. So it said that they talked to 10 people, right? Moreover, since the filing complaint in this action, SEC has received reports from at least 10 U.S. state investors who purchased Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX, and in some cases, more than one of these offerings. At least 2 of these investors specifically learned of the offerings through Hart's promotional contacts. So, there you go. Hart also engaged a software developer, Kyle, as you guys know him, Dev Kyle, who resides in the United States, to help develop Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X. For the Pulse Chain and Pulse X projects, Hart directed Barr to hire other software developers to assist with developing Pulse Chain and Pulse X. Barr helped communicate interview questions and answers between Hart and the potential developers, and at Hart's direction sent a contract for a signature for the potential hire. So, the one with Kyle Barr, or Dev Kyle as we know him, he pretty much said, Dev Kyle said that he worked for free. He did it all for like a passion, pretty much. He did it for free because he liked cryptocurrency or whatever. I can't remember, but he pretty much did it for free, or he did do it for free. But he was the one that had to hire the developers, and he was the one that had to get their where they lived or whatever. So I don't know. Like, is that illegal? I don't know. Maybe they weren't even U.S. citizens. Apparently, this is jurisdiction is because because Dev Kyle lives in the United States, that he has United States contacts. I don't know. US-based software developer to help develop Pulse Chain and Pulse X and facilitate the hiring of Hart's developers reflects further purposeful conduct directed at the United States, which relates specifically to the offerings in the case. So it even says right here, Barr stated that he was not compensated for his services, although Hart sent him a gift in the form of digital assets, which was USDC at the time, to purchase a Rolex wristwatch. Barr intended to return the funds that were used to purchase the wristwatch, but he was robbed while attempting to sell it. And yeah, so there you go. Ow. Some of this I didn't even get to read because it was really like real thick, but I have looked at more of the bottom, like the Morrison law. I have no idea what that even was. Did this not see some of my? Okay, it did. All right, here we go. The complaint officially alleges securities fraud against Richard Hart. So this is one of the big ones that I was trying to wrap my head around. Like, how are they going to get him for securities fraud when he literally told us nothing? Well, not everyone knows that the 14th Amendment was ratified or properly enacted. No such thing as a federal citizen, aka U.S. citizen, or U.S. citizen. Yeah. All right. Hey, BK isn't bad. LO, that's Bronx. Okay. The complaint alleges that Hart defrauded investors in Pulse Chain by misappropriating millions of dollars of investors' funds for his own personal luxury purposes. Hart argues that the complaint alleges neither a deceptive scheme, a fraudulent omission, nor Hart's signature. As discussed below, these arguments fail, and fraud claims against Hart in these things. So here we go. Deceptive acts. Hart violated the anti-fraud provisions of federal securities law by misappropriating $12.1 million of Pulse Chain investment proceeds for Hart's personal whims, including we all know what he bought. Hart's misuse of investors' funds standing alone is basis for a scheme liability, which I don't understand. Again, where was he raised over, like, it looks like probably more than $1 billion, but probably closer to 2 or 3. What is he not supposed to have these, like, do anything with it? It's just wild to me. Further, Hart did not just misappropriate investor funds. He also used devices specifically designed to conceal his movements of investors' funds in furtherance of the scheme. Dude, I'm telling you, nobody cared what he did with the money. Complaint alleges that, people will watch it, right? But if he bought Ethereum with it, which he did some of it, okay. The complaint alleges that Hart engaged in deceptive acts, including 22 back and forth transactions, disguising the movement of approximately $26 million in ETH that had just been invested into by Pulse Chain investors. Hart also used a crypto mixer to obfuscate his transaction before funneling funds through at least 50 intermediary wallets. A wide range of deceptive conduct suffices to satisfy scheme liability. So he's saying, because you did this, because you tried to hide your wallets, because people pocket watch, literally, it's just crazy. Like, people will just message you, be like, oh, you sold today? You did this? It's like, God, maybe I should use a crypto. This is the thing. As somebody that is, on the TVs, on the YouTube, why is it illegal for me to make it so everybody in the world can't see what I'm freaking doing, right? I'm not trying to do anything illegal. I'm trying to protect me and my family by doing that, right? I think it's gross that I can't protect my family because everybody can see how much money I have, right? What if you were a millionaire? I'm not even a millionaire, okay? Let's get that straight. I'm not even a millionaire. But what if you had 20, 30, 50, $100 million in your bank account, and every single person, including thieves, including all criminals, murderers, all of the things, terrorists, literally terrorists, can see what you're doing with your money, and they can track you. I mean, how hard is it to track people nowadays, right? But they can see exactly what you're doing with your money, and they can just come over and beat your ass, or take your family, kidnap your family, or do whatever they want, and get you to give up your money. Right? I think that it's gross that I can't mix my crypto and do it so people can't see it. Right? I think it's gross. Pocket watchers equal commie. Yeah. Marco the Hexen question here: where are the lawyers of RH happy and or chill? Let's see. Because we don't have rights, we're slaves, but don't tell anyone. They're supposed to not know. Don't tell the proles, they wouldn't understand. Yeah, Al Sharpton is shadier than 200-year-old oak tree. Okay. So it's saying that conduct suffices to satisfy scheme liability. So it's pretty much like, yeah, it's pretty much a scheme if you're trying to hide your crypto transactions. Conduct such as sham agreements, sham transactions, and sham companies or undisclosed payments. So it's saying like if you're trying to fake these transactions, like getting people like a sham transaction or sham agreements, which I'm guessing they're trying to say transactions, that means it's a scheme, scheme liability. No, he just doesn't want people to know how much money he has, dude. How about that? Myriad back and forth transactions through scores of intermediary crypto wallets to conceal his misappropriation of investors' funds qualifies as deceptive conduct. So I don't agree with that one. Meanwhile, Hart omitted that he was actually using a portion of the Pulse Chain investors' funds, not for the this one I thought was great, not for the development and marketing of the Pulse Chain network, but for his own purchases. When did he say any of this? He probably did say, I'm not using that for he probably did say this: Pulse Chain investors' funds, not for the development and marketing of the Pulse Chain network. Now, remember that he said this, right? Remember that they're trying to say this. Now, go up here. Right here, where did it say that? In securities offering to Pulse Chain, to develop Pulse Chain. They're saying that right here. He was doing it to offering to develop Pulse Chain. And now he's saying he didn't do that. And didn't he say a little bit further in here that there was not, they weren't trying to do that? That he had to take in the Pulse Chain, did not launch investors more than a year. I'm pretty sure it said that he, took in the funds to develop it because we looked it over. But now they're saying, oh, he even said they're not using it to develop it. It's like, dude, do we really think that Richard didn't have enough money to already develop Pulse and Pulse X after the $676 million or whatever it is dollars that he got from the adoption amplifier in Hex for Hex? How much did it cost to make Pulse and Pulse X? I don't know, but not anywhere near $676 million. I don't think that he used any of the sacrifice money to do that. Do you guys think that he used any of the sacrifice money to develop Pulse or Pulse X? Comment down below. They gave the SEC's lawyers wet willies and wedgies. Yeah. Oh, let's see. His lawyers were chill. The Howey, after the judge left, they almost bullied the two lawyers of the SEC, making jokes at them, even telling them they will lose. All right. Hart incorrectly claims that he did not omit anything about his use of the investors' funds because he promised nothing in connection with Pulse Chain sacrifices, which is true. Wow. First true thing that I've seen in this. However, promising nothing is not the standard. The standard for a fraudulent omission is whether the speaker has told the truth when choosing to speak on the particular topic. As Hart admits, he did speak about the use of Pulse Chain Investors' proceeds. For example, Hart stated in November 2021 that $500 million raised from the investors that was not related to charity. So this one I thought was just like, what? They literally aren't making sense here. And maybe it makes sense to you guys, and I've just been reading for too long. But for example, Hart stated in November 2021 that $500 million raised from the investors that was not related to the charity promotion. Richard says, to the best of my knowledge, do not go to charity. There you go. Slam the book. That was it. That was him saying that he knows what's going on with the investors' funds and promising them nothing. This one just blew my mind. I don't even know what they're trying to get at right here. Hart made the statement knowing full well that millions of dollars of those invested funds had been, and would continue to be, funding his personal purchases. Hart's statement is thus misleading in that it omits key information a reasonable investor would have wanted to know. That Hart was spending millions of their sacrifice funds on luxury items for personal use. What? For real, read that one up like 4 or 5 times and try to come off what they're trying to say. It's like he omitted that he was. Oh, I really can't. I can't do it. And maybe I'm just he misleading in that it omits key information a reasonable investor would have wanted to know, guys. We would have wanted to know. What? We're not investors. We sacrifice. We're sacrificers. The complaint here more than adequately alleges Hart signed her in defrauding Pulse Chain investors. Hart knowingly engaged in a series of labyrinth transactions designed to obscure his movements of newly invested Pulse Chain funds. Hart knowingly spent millions of dollars of investors' funds on personal luxury items. Hart knew that he had not purchased his watches, cars, and large black diamond with the actual profits from his enterprises, but with funds from investors. This is what I don't get. So he's saying, okay, yeah, you spent the money from investors on, stupid things, the luxury items or whatever. What did you want him to do with the money? If he would have been promoting Hex, guess what? That would have been he would have said, oh, well, he's promoting. Now he's promoter. He's the top promoter. Security. What did you want him to do? I really don't know. The fact that despite Hart knowing, okay, so I just don't understand what they wanted him to do with the freaking money. Profits from his enterprises. He doesn't have any businesses that we know of. I don't know of any business, but with funds from investors. Okay. I don't get it. Knowing that he was using money coming from the Pulse Chain investors, he failed to disclose this fact despite publicly speaking about the use of Pulse Chain invested dollars and the difficulty of the task of bringing Pulse Chain online. What? Dude, he told us about 1 million times that it was difficult. Trust me. I've rewatched his videos, and most of the time he's like, it'll be done when it's done. I don't know. I'm just, What? He should have been talking. He failed to disclose the fact despite speaking publicly about the use of Pulse Chain. He should have been telling us about where the money was going and the task of bringing Pulse Chain online. Hart was conscious of misuse of invested funds. That's not even an argument, Hexo, because he didn't buy the luxury goods with the SAC funds or the AA funds. I don't know what he bought it with, but I don't think he bought it with the SAC funds either. If it was the AA funds, I don't care. We all gave him our money for freaking, it's like going to the, Walmart and you want to buy something. Is that a security? I buy a bottle of milk. Is that a security? It's like we gave him our money to buy something else. We wanted something else. We all knew where it was going. We with the adoption amplifier. They wanted him to give them the money. Well, that's what it looks like. A community of uncorporated organizations. True. I agree. We are more of a community. True. No, we're not investors, we're sacrificers. Man, this community is dope AF. Suck it, Gensler. Yeah. The SEC has adequately pled that Hart securities were offered and sold as investment contracts. This one this one was pretty stale and pretty hard to read because I'm not, again, not a lawyer, have no idea what this is, and therefore are as securities subject to federal securities law. Hart wrongly contends that a traditional contractual undertaking or continuing obligation is required to establish the existence of an investment contract. Under the federal securities law, Hart's argument is foreclosed by Howey itself, which recognized that investment contracts include contract transactions or schemes meeting the Howey test. And he blatantly ignores recent cases that have applied to digital assets, Howey's long-standing test, and expressly and repeatedly rejected the continuing obligation requirement, including recent decisions in the circuit court. So here we go. I'll read this because I don't know if I read this, but it brings a bunch of court cases and stuff like that. But again, I haven't looked at any of these court cases, nor probably will I, if I'm being honest. So you guys do that. Moreover, Hart attempts to isolate Hex, Pulse, and Pulse X from the circumstances under which each was offered and sold, including Hart's many representations to potential investors about the nature of the offerings, and ask the court to focus only on the software that makes up the underlying crypto asset. Again, this approach ignores precedent, which counsels the court applying Howey should analyze the totality of circumstances which under which the assets were offering and sold, including and understandings and expectations that accompanied the offerings, rather than viewing the assets in isolation. So they're pretty much saying, look at all the assets. I don't know. I'm just reading it. Sorry. I can't interpret that one right now. Finally, Hart asked the court to draw disputed inferences from facts in his favor. Specifically, it asked the court to accept as true statements that Hart made, which were intended to evade securities law, even though the SEC has pled facts that contradict those statements, and has further specifically pled that Hart made those statements to deliberately disguise the economic realities underpinning the Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X offerings and evade securities law. Well, I mean, shouldn't we all be evading the securities law? In a legal fashion, obviously, but shouldn't that be what you're trying to do? It's just my thoughts on it. I don't know. But at this stage, the litigation of all facts and reasonable inferences from those facts must be construed in favor of the SEC. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. A contract. Okay. See, in the seminal case of SEC versus Howey, the Supreme Court defined the term investment contract as a contract, transaction, or scheme whereby a person invests his money in a common enterprise and is led to expect profit solely from the efforts of the promoter or third party. So solely, this is the big one, right? Solely. We are not relying solely on Richard to promote it, right? That's what I think that is crazy. It's like, and everybody will be like, well, look, Richard's gone, so it's down 99%. Dude, I guarantee you, if Richard never came back and the SEC FUD went away, we'd be doing just fine. Okay? I guarantee it. Well, okay, you don't guarantee anything. I don't guarantee anything. Okay, no. Not guaranteeing. Rewind. Don't guarantee anything. But I think that we'd be doing pretty good. All right. If the SEC went away, if this all went away, do you think that we'd still be here? That we'd be talking about SEC FUD? Probably not. And I don't think that Richard slowly I'm not expecting profits solely on Richard Hart. That's pretty much what it's asking. Led to expect profits solely from the efforts of Richard Hart or third party. Nobody, look how many PulseCon. They even say it in this thing. PulseCon, Hex Conference. How many Hex streamers are out there? Yes, there's way less now. I don't know how many there are now. Maybe like 2. But at one point there were 70 or something like that, or maybe even more than that. 170, I think. But yeah, so I mean, we're not This isn't solely on the effort of Richard Hart. We are all in this together. We are all showing up. We are all trying to help this thing grow, right? That we're not solely relying on Richard Hart. Thus, the definition of an investment contract embodies flexible. So this is what I think is crazy. Thus, the definition of an investment contract embodies a flexible rather than a static principle. So that it can mean whatever we want. It's fluid. It's an investment contract is a fluid thing. It could be this one day, it could be that another day. It's like, what? Flexible rather than a static principle? No, it needs to be static. This is what an investment contract is. You have to define it, because if you say, oh, it's just a flexible thing, it's like, dude, that is gross. You could just say, oh yeah, that one is, I don't like that guy, that's an investment contract. No, I don't think, like, if anything, this is gross. This should be thrown out just because of that. One that is capable of adaptation to meet the countless and variable schemes devised by those who seek the use of money of others on the promise of profit. Well, maybe if you guys weren't so like crazy about it, you could actually let things flourish, right? Hex is innovative, right? Pulse X is innovative. It actually has some new things that we haven't seen before, right? These things are innovative. These things are actually, and plus Pulse X and Pulse Chain. I mean, guys, these are forks of things that have worked. And one of them is not even is deemed not a security. Ethereum, Pulse Chain should be automatically, right? But no. Richard Hart did it. That means it is a security. The saying it's flexible rather than a static principle is gross. That means you can just say whatever you want and do whatever you want. That just means you can just jail people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that it's gross. I think that's gross. All right. According to the court should reject Hart's argument that the SEC must plead a continuing contractual obligation to establish an investment contract. So this is the investment contract. I think I didn't understand a lot of it, honestly. Maybe I understood it, but it was a real rough read. It brings up a lot of court cases. So like Terraform, I don't even know what Terraform is. But another crypto case, asset case, also agreed that no contract, like, I don't know what contractual obligation is. I honestly have no idea. Contract and obligation to like fulfill. Again, I'm just reading this. I'm no lawyer. Let's see, applications of a Howey test. So here we go. An investment of money. So the complaint pleads facts supporting the Howey elements for the hex. With respect to the first element, investment of money, the SEC has pled that investors deposited crypto assets into a hex wallet address that Hart owned and controlled for the purpose of purchasing and investing. This one's crazy. We don't know if Richard Hart owned it, right? He never said that he owned it. We all assumed, but who cares? And controlled for the purpose of purchasing and investing in hex tokens. That never happened. Investment of money. So they're saying that we invested money so that Richard would purchase and invest in hex tokens. So he would buy up the hex tokens. Now, this is one of the reasons why I say you guys should stop saying, oh, Richard's going to buy our bags. You guys don't know that, and it's really bad for, it's a bad look for the SEC looking in on it and being like, oh, really? They think that Richard's just going to buy, right? You got to get away from Richard Hart, all of us, all right? You got to stop saying that Richard's going to buy your bags, because maybe he doesn't, okay? Maybe he doesn't buy, maybe he wants to ETH. Maybe he's just an ETH boy now, which is fine. We don't need him. We've got people to promote it. We've got people to talk about it. We've got people to... we're talking about it right now. We've got people out there. We don't solely need to rely on Richard. And I don't think we have. But the people that are saying, well, Richard's going to buy it with the ETH. Just who cares? Terraform is what Elon wants. Okay. Now, Black's Law Dictionary will have a definition. Okay. Moreover, the complaint also pleads facts reflecting the hex satisfies the second Howey prong, the existence of a common enterprise, which may be demonstrated through horizontal commonality. Horizontal commonality is established when investors assets are pooled and the fortunes of each this one's wild too. The fortunes of each investors are tied to the fortunes of other investors as well as the success of the overall enterprise. What? When investors' assets, so literally the stock market, are pooled and the fortunes of each investors are tied to the fortunes of other investors as well. This is the sex of the... Okay. You guys, you decipher that one with whatever you want. It's like, if you put your money in something and it goes up and you want it to go up or you're relying on it, assets are pooled tied to the fortunes of other investors. I just don't get it. That one, these are like rack my brain because it's like, what, dude? That's literally anything that you could like go look at any, which maybe that's what they're saying. Okay, this is the second leg of the Howey test that you fail or that you don't fail. That's, that maybe that's what they're saying. Whatever. Now, Hart pooled investors' funds together into private wallet addresses. What? Is this in Pulse Chain, PulseX, or Hex? Because if they're talking about Hex, that is not true. And stated here we go. This is the big lie. The big lie of the entire thing. Hart pooled investor funds together into private wallet addresses and stated he would use these funds to develop the Hex ecosystem. You guys remember when he said that? No. He's literally always said he doesn't work for us. Literally. And all the Hex tokens are fungible such that investors' financial fortunes rise and fall together in equal proportions. Like any freaking anything that you invest in, I guess, that you put your money into. If I buy a freaking a video game that I'm collecting and it rises like is all the same guys that own the video game now. I bought a car, right? My little yellow Civic, my Honda Civic. I bought it as a collectible. I've only put like 2,000 miles on it in the last 3 years. So it's a collectible. Now, am I putting my money in and the financial fortunes rise and fall together in equal proportions? Like my money's in it and they all go, if the price of one, that has 2,000 miles in it and everything else goes up. Hey, guess what? They're rising and falling. Might be a security. My freaking car. I knew it. My car is a security. It's all over for me. I invested too much. Let me see. All right. Some of that, I don't even know what this is. Expectation of profits, maybe? I don't think I read through this part. More of the SEC has specifically pled in its complaint that Hart is familiar with the federal securities law and Howey test, and that he made false statements to his investors in order to disguise economic reality of the crypto offerings. To the extent Hart now requests that the court credit his versions of the events over the allegations in the complaint, Hart is asking the court to bypass and ignore black letter law regarding the standard review of the motion to dismiss brought under blah, 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 which requires the court to assume the truth of the facts asserted in the complaint and draw all reasonable inferences. Those, in fact, so they're pretty much saying that Richard is saying false statements about the Howey test. I would have to see these complaints, honestly. So whatever this complaint 6 on 74, line 74 and 75. So if anybody wants to send them to me, that'd be great. But from what I've taken, when I've heard Gary Gensler talk about the Howey test, it's literally exactly what Richard has said. So I don't know how he's like lying about it. Right? I don't know. Hart contends that the court should dismiss the SEC's entire complaint because it's an impermissible effort. Let's see. Hey, thank you, Duke of Booze, for the Canadian $10. I'm investing in your YouTube channel. Is it now a security? Oh my gosh, please. I'm not a securities dealer. I'm opening up my my trench coat. I'm a securities dealer. Do you want one? Hey, I've got securities here. Duke of Booze just gave me $10. Want some? Want some securities? I've got them. What do you want? You want the high yield? You want the low yields? Oh snap! You're into those low yields? Okay, you want the high? You want the high yields, my friend? Thank you, Duke of Booze, for the $10. Rhyming and stealing. Yep. All right. effort to penalize and restrain Hart's speech. Okay, here Hart contends that the court should dismiss this SEC's entire complaint because it is an impermissible effort to penalize and restrain Hart's speech along with speech of thousands of users. Hart presents his arguments in two pieces, first objecting the complaint's use of his own words, and then attempting to wrap free speech protections around the code that he developed for Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. For the reasons described below, the arguments fell. So this is pretty much on his free speech that he's going for, why it should just be thrown out because of free speech. I mean, we did sacrifice for it. So Hart broadly argues that the SEC is not allowed to refer to his public statements in support of his claims. I don't know if this is true. I've not heard him say that. Maybe it's in the what he's talked about so far, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about that the code for Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X are the cornerstones of free speech. They're the ones that are actually free speech, and you can't sue software. I don't think Richard's saying you can't sue me, you can't do anything to me because I have free speech. I don't know. That doesn't sound like Richard, right? Pointing to examples in the complaint, quoting and using his own words against him, Hart claims that the use of his own words is somehow impermissible under the First Amendment. This is a novel and untenable position akin to a bank robbery defendant claiming that his constitutional rights are violated if prosecutors quote him saying, "Stick 'em up." I don't know if I believe any of that. I would have to see whatever this is. The motion of page 4748. Hey, Derek Lester, thank you for the $50. Thanks for not launching a meme coin and cashing out on us. Instead of doubling down on what worked in the beginning, I missed those damn limits. I know, Derek, I know. And thank you for the $50, dude. I mean, that's easy money, right? Meme coins, this is one of the things. Dude, when the SEC started subpoenaing me, it scared me enough to not want to do a meme coin, right? These guys making coins. I mean, look, if Richard has a bit like over $1 billion, maybe not Richard, whoever owns the sacrifice wallets, obviously we have no idea. I keep saying it's Richard because they're alluding that it's Richard. I honestly don't think that it's all Richard's money. I think maybe he had a team, maybe he's paying his developers like, hey, if you get in on this, if you develop this coin, he talked about a really awesome developer that he had. Maybe he was like, here's a wallet and that it's going to go to. I literally have no idea because I don't watch any of the wallets. I'm not a pocket watcher. I don't watch where people's money goes. I really don't care because I got the thing that I wanted. I sacrificed for freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and a zero value token, and I got exactly what I got, right? And guess what? Oh my gosh, it's actually valuable token now. Amazing stuff that we have here. And with Hex, the AA, right? I gave up my ETH and I got what I wanted, which was Hex. So I have nothing to complain about. The only thing I have to complain about is the SEC suing for stupid things that have wrecked the price. Because I don't think that the price would be this wrecked without the SEC doing this. I think that we probably would have went down 3, 4, 5 cents and stuck there, maybe even 10 cents, and stuck there for a little bit and then blasted back off to all-time highs. But because the SEC decided to put this stupid lawsuit against Richard and software, I should say, Richard and software, that we're obviously going to be way more wrecked than we would, because it literally brings FUD. And if FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that is exactly what the SEC has brought into the market. Fear that we have no idea what's going to happen, right? They made fun of it. Oh, they're pretty much valueless tokens at this point. It's down 98%. It's like, yeah, dude, because you guys are suing it. There's fear. You produced fear, uncertainty as well, and doubt. You're making us doubt that we had something that we, not us, because I am not doubting it. I know that if Richard can beat all this, I think that it does amazing things. If he can't, because, these laws are just stupid and obviously they can make up whatever they want because it's flexible. This is a flexible thing. It shouldn't just be like, if they can just make up whatever they want and just sue people for having ideas, then it's, anybody that's making a meme coin right now should be very afraid. And that's what, coming back around, especially in the Hex community, because man, if this thing gets wrecked, there's a lot of people that are going to be complaining that you know, there's lots of people that have shown their face on the internet that have started a meme coin, and if you don't think that that's going to come back to haunt you in someday, like, I don't know, man. Especially if it's rug pulled or if it went down 98% or 99%. Richard's got $1 billion. Whoever owns the things, I don't know, but you know, it's got at least $1 billion behind it to say, hey, this actually didn't happen. Does your shitcoin that you made that probably, you know, rug pulled $200,000 or $300,000? Do you think that that's going to help you with your lawyers that you've got to fight against? And, you know, if you rug pull it, you're probably going to get an actual fraud charge, right? So yeah, that's why I don't make meme coins. I think that I would rather get a real job and freaking do real work than try to take people's money. And that's what people are doing right now. From what I've seen, you know, I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but nobody's coming up with any innovative ideas. This is all just like, hey, let's try to steal this person's money by making a meme coin. You know, it's great for freaking a month, 2 months, and then guess what? Back down 99% versus Pulse, and then everybody's like, what? You know, why didn't anybody tell me this was going to be? It's like, dude, no, it's one of the reasons why I don't say anything. I learned very early with Hexy, with Wise, with Axion, is I just don't even talk about it. You know, it was one of those things Richard said, if you don't talk about it, guess what? People will stop learning about it. And so I just don't talk about it. People will hate on me all day because I don't freaking promote their coin or I don't talk about their coin. It's like, dude, I'm not invested in it. I don't care about it. You know, I hope it does well, but I literally don't care because most of the time you're just trying to get other people's money so you can get the thing that I want more of, right? You want more Hex, or you want more Pulse Chain, or you want more Pulse X. So that's why you started your coin, not because you think that this, you know, this is a, oh my gosh, it's roast beef token. Oh my gosh, roast beef token. Are you kidding me? This thing's going to the moon. It's got some innovation behind it. No, you were just trying to make a meme coin and promote it and trying to get it out there so you could get some people's money. And either you want the USDC or you want to get some Hex or Pulse Chain or Pulse X, and that's the way you can get it. It's the easiest way to get it. You know, having a job, getting a job is hard. To get, you know, $100,000 for an investment, it's really easy to do if you just create a shit token and rug pull your community, or take the liquidity out, or whatever it is, or whatever else you can do. I mean, there's lots of ways you can scam people in the community, or not in the community, but in the crypto markets, right? So there's lots of ways, you know. So that's just why I don't do it. I'm not going to get to go to jail. I'm not going to freaking for you know, promoting actual scams. I don't think that I have really big conviction in Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. All right, and an incentive, obviously, but your thing that you know, your roast beef token, I'm good. I don't need it. The SEC Wall Street circuit went even further in showing constitutional deference to regulation efforts, finding that government power to regulate securities related speech is at least broad as respect to the general rubric of commercial speech. So they're pretty much saying that they can get you with your freedom of speech if it's securities related. So I don't know what Richard said, but it is, you know, I don't know if I believe that Richard was just like, oh yeah, you can't use my free speech against me. Like, I don't, or my speech against me. I don't think that he would say that. I think that he's talking about the code. Okay, let's see where we read that. Although Hart points to an injunctive relief sought by the SEC as far more extensive than necessary. So Richard is pretty much saying, why are you guys doing this? It sounds like, you know, you guys are injunctive relief by the SEC. This is not the case if the court chooses to permanently bar the defendants from further sales of crypto asset securities. It will only come after the court has identified compelling reasons to do so through application of several relevant court case text factors. So it's saying pretty much that maybe they're trying to stop Richard from ever having sales of crypto asset securities, you know, afterwards, I'm guessing, because they're already out, Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I'm guessing that they're not going to be able to stop those. Hart argues that his crypto products and platforms are inherently protected by the First Amendment and urges the court to apply strict scrutiny review to the SEC's attempt to enforce the SEC or the federal securities laws in connection with them. Strict scrutiny should not apply here. That's what it ends with. The SEC's effort to regulate these digital products and platforms and content is neutral based on any expressive use, but on the function of hex, pulse chain, and pulse X as securities. Well, you don't know what they are, man. I'm telling you, they're not securities, especially hex. Pulse and pulse X, I don't think that they're securities, but you could probably say, oh, well, you put your money into a common pool and people, I'm guessing some people could say that. I don't believe that, because I honestly was like, okay, we're going to get a valueless token. Who knows what it's going to be worth? Oh, let's see. Did I get any more? So that's it on that. There's a lot more, guys. There's a lot more of the free speech. If you want to go look at it, I think Richard just posted something, obviously. Let me open it. We can open it. I don't know how much my voice is already dead because I've been getting a sore throat. Oh, and this is this is one of the exhibits that they pulled from Joker and Richard Hart talking.
Just so you know, we got
this is what they're saying is like, I don't even know. Like, what? How is this anything like a? How? Here we go. I'll just show you.
This PulseCon 2022 coming up in September. T-Money and FreedomTV.info are doing it. So I know they're making attempts to reach out to you to essentially be a speaker at that. There's going to be 3,000 seats in a theater of all kinds of different coins that will be there to kind of like, to see what Pulse Chain's about or whatnot. Just want to know your viewpoint on that. And if you'd like to.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'm happy to talk. I mean, I'm going to do it remote. I'm not flying in. But if you want me to do a remote talk, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like it when people promote stuff that I invented. So I'm a fan. Like, I don't want the stuff I invented to suck. So yeah.
So that was it. There you go. I don't know why that is anything. It's like he was going to talk. Again, some of the things that they're trying to get him on, I'm like, okay, I honestly didn't. And this is the thing why I don't start meme coins, because you don't know what they can get you on, right? If they want to get you, they'll get you. It sounds like they can just say whatever they want and they just be like, yeah, you're wrong there. There's so many laws, right? They say that, you walk out your doorstep and you're committing like 3 felonies already. And if the government wants to, they can put you in jail. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't do it. It was one of the reasons why it was really hard for me to put my face on the crypto already, in Hex especially, because I didn't stream before Hex. It was, and still, I mean, it's rough, guys. It's rough. Nobody likes you. All right. It's rough putting your face out there. I mean, I've gotten subpoenas. My wife got a subpoena. She doesn't even know how Hex works. My wife got one. Okay. So I don't know. And then you get shit, right? You get shit because, oh, you told me to buy at 30 cents, which again, I stopped streaming at 14 cents, let it go all the way up, all the way back down to like 3 or 4 cents. And then I started streaming again. So all the people that were crying that I got them in at 40 cents, lie, because I didn't stream. Let's see. So they in some of the, what are we at now? In some of the, what's it called? The exhibits, it has some transcripts, and I don't know, I can't remember if this is Richard's. Nah, it's probably theirs. But they had some exhibits of Richard's live streams. And so it was this one's 7 hours. They have transcripts of 7 hours. It was crazy. This one, which again, he's in Malta. So this should show that he's not just talking to US users. Martini guy, which I thought the Martini guy was weird, because if you listen to some of it, because I've listened to it recently, it sounded like he was trying to record Richard without him knowing it. Now, I don't know what that means or anything, but yeah, take it for what you will. But I mean, dude, if anybody's, somebody that's been scamming people or rug pulling or promoting some garbage, this guy would be on the top list. This guy is like with the Trevons or the freaking who else? Who are the other guys? that promote everything. No, I'm not going to say the other ones because I'm trying to be cool with some of them. Altcoin dailies. You look back at their track record and you're like, dude, this rug pulled 3 years ago. Are you not going to update us on that? No. It's one of the reasons why I talk about, 3 coins now, Pulse, PulseX, and Hex, and Incentive, 4 coins. Because it's like, dude, I'm not one of these guys that's just going to freaking promote everything. I think it's gross. So that one, and so there you go. Nuclear Herbs even talks about how how they're making fun of us because your price is down to 97% or whatever. Pretty gross. I think it's like a slap in the face. It's like, yeah, dude, if you guys weren't suing us, maybe things would be different. I don't know. Maybe you should listen to. Let's go to this DocuDroid. See what Richard has posted. All right, here's Richard's rebuttal, which I think that was posted today. So I think that now this is I think that this is good, because if Richard posted this today and this was done today, or, it's been built up into today. So the SEC, I think, responded on July 8th. And I think that he was supposed to respond today, which I think is better, because then it's like they can look over everything that Richard, or everything that the SEC was claiming, and then they can be like, oh, okay, well, we'll just dispute that, or we'll rebuttal that. I'm not entirely sure when this came out. So obviously it says 8/22, but I don't know when they actually posted this. So let's see. I did read some of this, but slapdash complaint. Okay, let's just read the preliminary statement. Defendant Richard Hart's motion to dismiss lays bare numerous glaring legal, because we looked at the FUD part, okay? Because I was trying to do us a service. Everybody is like, oh, Hexel, you're just all, flowers and all this. It's like, dude, I'm trying to be, all the time I'm trying to be real with you guys. And I don't know either. But let's look at the good case. The other side of the grass, right? Plaintiff Securities SEC Commission slapdash complaint, a pleading consistent with SEC's ongoing haphazard campaign to punish people who create or interact with blockchain technologies. Dang, he slaps them straight out of the gate. Pretty much, if because I like to layman these. They're pretty much saying, you guys are just suing everybody, and you're doing it haphazardly to punish people for interacting with blockchain technologies. At the apex of these improper efforts is the current attempt to muzzle Mr. Hart using a narrative riddled with factual inaccuracies, true, cherry-picked statements, and misguided legal theories. Tacitly? You can call me a retard. I don't care. I don't know what that is. Admitting its inability to defeat Mr. Hart's arguments for dismissal. The SEC now lobs a new putative, isn't it punitive? Putative evidence, twist its timeline, and suggests that the alleged offerings were promoted long after they had concluded. Peppers its opposition to Mr. Hart's motion with unpled, unsupported allusions to non-existent U.S. connections, and conjures up new allegations found nowhere in the complaint. Dang! New allegation. This is one of those things where I don't think that they can do this in there. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so I have no idea. But I think that all of the allegations that they had to put forward were. They had to do that on the complaint right when they, sent out the complaint. So, dang. None of these can salvage the SEC's complaint, which should be dismissed with prejudice in its entirety. First, the SEC says almost nothing to rectify the complaint jurisdictional shortcomings, and instead admits the complaint's insufficiencies by resorting to new purported evidence. True, because we didn't hear of any of the Kyle stuff or any of the, all these other. This is very true. But the SEC's 11th hour Facts still fail because they either post-date the alleged offerings at issue, bear no relevance to the jurisdictional inquiry, or both. Second, the SEC attempts to overcome Morrison's bar on extraterritoriality by relying on authorities involving detailed U.S.-centric allegations not present here. Lacking such allegations, the SEC litters its opposition with references to the United States not found in the complaint. I told you guys. It just litters its opposition with references to the U.S. not found in the complaint or otherwise substantiated. I'm not even lying. When they were talking about this Morrison part, it was like just a whole bunch of references to oh, well, they did this over here and then they did this over here and guess what, they did this over here. I was like, dude, I don't even know what they're trying to say, because it's literally like parentheses and put in parentheticals and into bars and brackets, and I was like, dude, I can't even read this. Honestly, I couldn't read it. I didn't even tell you or show you guys it because I couldn't read it. Lacking, and I am a Marine, a little slow, but I just, I couldn't even read it, honestly. Lacking such allegations. Okay, let's see. The SEC cannot simply wish domestic transactions into existence. Third, the SEC fails to salvage its incoherent fraud claims, instead merely repeating its conclusionary refrain that Mr. Hart's conduct was inherently deceptive. True. Alleged uses of funds that do not comport with the SEC's preferences are not deceptive, of no representations whatsoever were made about them. The SEC's incredulity and indignation that the individuals would partake in the transactions at issue do not approach a viable fraud claim in the absence of anything fraudulent, which is very true. It's like, dude, we didn't do it. He didn't do it. Would partake in the transactions at issue do not approach a viable, for real. It's like, we didn't, nobody even cares about the transactions. How does that make it a fraud because you of transactions? Does any, like, for real though, how does it make it fraudulent? Again, I'm a slow little boy. So, fourth, the SEC misunderstands Mr. Hart's argument that the investment contract requires a continuing obligation, whether as part of a formal contract or an informal contract or scheme. The complaint does not allege any such continuing obligation, so there is no investment contract here, and the federal securities laws cannot apply. Critically, the opposition identifies no case that says otherwise. Rather than address the point, the SEC spends pages. Dang, whoever wrote this is like a freaking comedian. For real. Dude, this guy should like write actual jokes. Rather than address the point, the SEC spends pages responding to a hypothetical Howey test argument that Mr. Hart does not make in his motion. Building a straw house and then blowing it down does not address the legal argument Mr. Hart raises. Who wrote this? This is good. This is like actually fun reading. Fifth, the SEC fails to grapple at all with Mr. Hart's First Amendment arguments. Dude, this guy's literally calling him retarded. It ignores that unconstitutionally of cobbling together a purported securities entirely by cherry-picking words from hundreds of hours public commentary of protected speech, resulting in content-based discrimination unsupported by compelling government interest. Which is true. We even talked about that, where they were they wanted to unconstitutionally of cobbling together the purported. They wanted to like put pulse X, pulse chain, and hex all in the same category, and by cherry picking words of hundreds of hours of public commentary, which is true. We even looked at that. The SEC also overlooks the unconstitutionality of its proposed injunction, which would dismantle blockchain-based public speech and impose a prior restraint on Mr. Hart's future speech by prohibiting him from interacting with communities that depend on blockchain for the exchange of ideas. Wait, I gotta read this again. Mr. Hart, okay. The SEC also overlooks the unconstitutionality of its proposed injunction. Oh, so they want that their proposed injunction, it seems like, is to actually make Richard stop talking about securities or hex or whatever, which would dismantle blockchain-based public speech and impose prior restraint on Mr. Hart's future speech by prohibiting him from interacting with communities that depend on blockchains for exchange of ideas. Just imagine they actually want him to stop talking about blockchain. He can't talk about blockchain or anything like that. That's crazy. Because, dude, he's one of the smart, and even ask some of the Bitcoiners, they know that Richard's one of the smartest people in the entire community of crypto, the larger community of crypto. He's one of the most intelligent people, and you're going to kick this guy out? Like, everybody should be fighting against that part, especially to make it an injunction to make Richard pretty much stop talking about blockchain, anything blockchain. So there you go. That's the summary. If you want to look at more of it, it goes into like crazy detail, obviously, and it looks like they're, I saw Terraform on there. So yeah, I would go and look at there's Terraform. So involved in contemporaneous conduct such as promoting the digital asset. So they're going to be disputing all of what they just said. It sounds like on this rebuttal or this document. So I would go and check that out. Again. The plaintiff is Hex, Pulse-Chain, and PulseX. Code. They're literally trying to sue Code, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let me look at this. Thank you, Hexo, for the great stream. Well, thank you. I told you this team is funny. They are. Yeah. The judge smiled a few times when they spoke in the courtroom. Use that Marine Corps knowledge. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. The Marine Corps knowledge, that's like you can't say those two things in the same sentence, that's for sure. I love your laugh. Well, thank you, guy. Giant turd from the Skylands. Yeah. Sorry if I don't get all the way through this chat. It's probably a lot. How can they muzzle him if he doesn't even have a snout? Exactly. Those are the questions we should be asking. Thank you for the mega dissection of the fish market, Hex. So yeah, no problem. October 24th. Yes, that's the next part. What is the next special date? September or October? October 24th is when they do the oral arguments. So you might want to be there for that. Get it on video. There's going to be lots of oral arguments. So lots of it. But I don't think Richard's going to show up. I'm still disputing or deciding if I'm going to go. Honestly, I'm trying to save my money. And, $1,000 is pretty much what it would cost me to fly out there. And it's like an 8-hour flight from where I live to New York. And, $1,000 is like, that's a lot of Hex now. I think you can buy a million E-Hex for that. So, I'm on the saving my money side of things. So I don't know if I'll be able to make it. It's for the day. I honestly don't think don't get me wrong. I think it would be great to go, but just going off for the day, I'd fly there. The next day I would go to the court hearing, whatever, hang out with you guys, which would be great. And then go to sleep. The next morning I'd probably have to fly out. So yeah, I mean, it's more than $1,000 for me. It would probably be about $1,000 just for me. So it's just a little bit too much money for me right now. Let's see. Tacitly, silently, tacitly. I don't know. In a way that was understood or implied without being directly stated. Okay. 11th hour facts. LOL. Yeah, dude, they were just literally like doing this, to them, just like, shut up. You guys are dumb. Mega dissection. Yeah, I guess. I tried to read for about an hour and a half, which that was, I read all these articles, but reading law was like, please no more. RH built something so perfectly within the rules and they are pissed about it. Very true. Very true. I can't believe you're still on. Me too. My wife's probably asking the same question. Smart. Oh, I can't see that. Let me small. What is this? Smart money is being spent on food/water storage. Yeah. Let's see. Joke is on them. Richard Hart pretty much cloned himself 1,000 of the times as far as blockchain knowledge is concerned. Very true, Sickly. It's one of those things where this is one of the reasons why I don't think that we need to rely on Richard as a promoter of our product. And we should call it our product now, right? It's not Richard's product. It's our product. We are the community. We are the ones that are promoting it. We are the ones that are talking about it, right? Maddie's put on these conferences. The T-Mommy has milked his way to the top and got $350,000 from the best of us. Not me. But it's our freaking blockchain, right? It's not Richard's blockchain. It's our blockchain. It's ours. Like, we're the ones doing the hard work now. Let's raise 1,000 for Hexo so he can live stream. What do you mean? I am live streaming. Oh, you mean when I'm out there? Yeah, I mean, it would be okay. You don't gotta raise $1,000, but yeah, I don't know. We are all Richard. True. Pulse chain is ours 100%. Exactly. So, and what you were saying, Sickly, is yeah, I mean, we have Richard's knowledge. If you look back at the last 6 years, he's done probably hundreds of hours of content that if you watched it enough, you know it now, right? It's like reading the Bible. Like, after a while, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you read the Bible 100 times, you're going to find different meanings and different things in it, but you know what it says, and most of the time you can quote it off and read it, and you don't even have to read it a lot. You can just which you should, but these pastors that can just like, oh, and then blah, they quote scripture. You're like, dang, how did he do that? We can do that. We have hundreds of hours of Richard's content. We don't need him to talk about Hex, Pulse Chain, or Pulse X anymore, right? This is our blockchain. We need to talk about it. We need to get it out there to other people, and we need to get it in front of other people's eyes. We don't, everybody that thinks that Richard's going to pump your bags, good luck. What if he doesn't? That's what I've been trying to say for a long time. Like, what if he doesn't? And if he doesn't, we can't blame him. It's not, let's say he puts in 170 ETH right now. How many Jeets are just gonna freaking cash out within the day, right? How many people are just gonna be like, yo, I'm out? All of them, almost everybody. We get up to 10 cents, most people are gone, right? Most people that aren't staked, and most people are staked, or at least sitting on these little liquid bags. But final straw, yeah. Our blockchain insert Bucks Bunny communist meme, yeah. We ate all Satoshi. We are all RH. Oh, we all are all Satoshi. Yeah, we didn't eat him. But definitely we are all Satoshi. Final straw. So it's bugs again for dinner, Daddy? Yeah, it looks like it. Crazy that I remember when you had like 30,000 followers on X. Proud of you, bro. Yeah, I broke the 55,550 just the other day, which, dude, Twitter is just so crazy. I'll lose like 100 followers, and then 30 minutes later I've gained 70, and then 20, and it fluctuates like crazy. So if you see 55.4, it'll be back up there. It's been progressively. This is the thing, and it was stuck at 54.9 for like 6 months. I wasn't getting any followers, which is fine. But I've been slowly, in the last week I've gained 500 followers. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what that means. Catching up to Richard. Yeah. Night, buddy. Hey, take care, D-Gen. Let me see. Thanks, Hexo. Great job. Thank you, Hexponential Gains. The judge smile. Okay, let's see. They actually state cases. True. I mean, the other one did state cases, but joke is on them. Richard pretty much cloned him. Okay, let's see. Why would you need to secret record if it was already be recorded on RH channel? What's that? Oh, I don't know. Oh, Mr. What's his name? I don't know, but you can listen to it. It's really weird because it's like recording now. So I'm just telling you, it was a little weird. Even when I was listening to it the first time, I was like, is he trying to get him on something? Is he like an informant or something? It's just like the liar just says, OGs told them to stake for 5,555 only. Nope, we always recommended a letter. Very true, Hex Monkey. Those people that staked for 5,055 or that are stating that we did are liars. Me and I think it might have been Johnny. It was either Johnny or Pep I was talking to the other day. We were talking about the exact same thing. It's like nobody was ever talking about staking for 5,555. It was Johnny. I literally remember saying, now I don't watch everybody's content, so there could be a influencer out there that was like, oh, stake everything for 5,055, and I know of one that may have been doing that, but no, I don't, the majority was telling you to either do a staking ladder. For me, I always said it was on a personal, it's personal. What you're going to stake is personal. It was very personal, because it's like, if you have a gambling mentality, and I would always say this, if you have a gambling mentality, you're not going to be the person that can stake for 5, 10, 15 years, because you're going to emergency end stake and you're going to lose everything you have. So start slow, start with a year, 6 months, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. And then, you add a year, you go, oh, well, I'm going to stake it longer for now. That's what I've always promoted. I've never heard really anybody, like you said, talk about staking just for 5,055. There might be a person out there, but if they're doing that, yes, that is irresponsible. But I bet in 15 years or 12 years or however long it is, maybe those people will be really happy too. So could have sworn that Gary changed his name to Glizzy Guzzler, but perhaps I am wrong. Yeah, maybe. No effects Peyton. I gained followers on X without posting, pick up a few bots a day, had a few followers before I even posted anything on my new account. Yeah. And I think that it is very, it's got a bot problem. That's for sure. Guys, I staked all my hex for 5,555 days. I need $50,000. Please donate so I can buy the bottom of the bear market. Oh, that sounds, yep. I don't know where you're getting any of that. But what's up, Hex Mac? Let's see. Thanks for reading it with us. Much more fun than solitary studying. True. Help me on board Little Pump, please. No, dude, Little Pump is too far, man. He's already talking shit on Richard. He's an idiot. He's literally an idiot. And the people out there, by the way, if you're poo-pooing on us for even commenting down below, guess what? He gets 1,000 likes. I got like 400, which, I'm not trying to compare likes, but guess what? People that click on his Twitter, the first one that will come up is any of them that have the highest amount of tweets or not retweets, but likes. So guess what? How you can see however many, because there's a guy, I don't remember who it was, but it was like, oh, you guys are just promoting, he did this and blah blah blah, which I don't agree with him at all. But guess what? If he has 1 million followers and we can almost ratio him, or at least get into the top of his replies, guess what? We win, because people get to see us. They're seeing Pulse Chain. They're seeing, I linked a Richard Hart video. How many people are going to click that? Even if it was 10, 20, because we got 400 likes, and impressions on like 8,000 or 10,000, maybe even more. I can't even remember. We can look at it. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see right now because I've got too much. But yeah, let's say 20,000, because I'm guessing it had probably 10 to 20,000 impressions. That means 20,000 people saw it because we were posting. It doesn't matter if you like the guy's views. I don't care about Kamala Harris's views. I think that she's a wreck and she's going to ruin crypto if she gets in board or in as the presidency. But I still comment under her because I want to get the impressions to be able to be seen by thousands of people. That's why I do it. I have a Hex logo next to my name, and guess what? People click your name, and you can see it in the impressions that I have thousands of people clicking my name every time. So, little pumperoni pizza. Is there actually a pumperoni pizza, or are we just? I wish, dude. I wish. All are welcome in the best crypto assets ever advised. True. Yeah. If I know that he's done some really gross things. And I don't agree with it at all. And I'm just trying to steal his views. Right? The only thing you're going to get is onboarding Little Pump is a Little Pump, and it's in the name. True. All right, streaming again this year? No. They're trying to do an injunction. That's why I don't think that he's been streaming. It sounds like they're doing an injunction on him to make it so he can't talk about blockchain ever again. So if the SEC has its way, it doesn't sound like he'll be able to talk ever again. Now, I don't think that the SEC is going to win on that. I don't think the SEC is going to. I don't think Richard's going to let them. He'll fight that one. I think that he'd fight that one. Got my reply to CMC, got about 50% of their likes thanks to the community. They have 6.5 million followers. Exactly, Johnny, exactly. See? And impressions matter. People that see the coin. Look, brand awareness matters. The reason why you know the McDonald's logo, the logo, the reason you know Nike, the reason you know all of these logos is because you recognize their brand, right? It's not because you're just born innately with these logos in your brain, like, oh, just do it. That's what they say. Oh my gosh, that's the Nike logo. I learned that in heaven. No, you you build up on brand awareness, right? You see it so many times that you're like, I know that brand, and then boom, right? You trust that brand. You know that brand. It's there. People trust Nike, even though it's come out that they have little kids sweatshops and they do all these nasty and gross, mean things. People still buy Nike and they still support it. And they, all these people that are like, fight the man, Nike. It's like, what are you talking about? So it's brand awareness. All right. That's why we try to get our names out there. It's good to talk to different communities, because if you just stick in the Hex community, you're going to get circle jerk. You're going to get carpal tunnel in your little hands from the circle jerk, and you're not going to grow. Your community is not going to grow, and other people are not going to see you, because all that the algorithm is going to do is shove everything that you talk about in your face about just that. So if you're just talking about Hex, it's only going to promote you to Hexkins, and it's only going to promote you to cryptocurrency. That's it. That's what the algorithm does. So right now, politics is big. So I go and comment in politics, because guess what? If people see my name and people click and they like and they share, guess what? They're going to see more of my content. And then guess what? Brand recognition. An injunction would be a breach of Richard's freedom of speech. No, I mean, that's what they're trying to say. Yeah, but it's not always works that way. They can make an injunction to make it so you can't talk about things ever again. Imagine not using a God-given right because a country that you don't even live in says you shouldn't say something. True. Hexo must have not heard of Terrence Howard. What did he do? I don't know. You're not born with these logos in your brain yet. Yeah. Brand awareness is a compounding effect. True. He was born with the knowledge. Oh, Terrence, the weirdo. Yeah, on Joe Rogan. Yeah. Imagine you can't talk about your favorite team. True. And let's see. 1 × 1 = 369. True. Yeah. This seems like it's a breach of his freedom. Yeah. Hexo, Jesus is the way. I hope Hex can help us, but with all this government stuff, it's looking like they don't want the little guy to win. We need Jesus for sure. For sure. I mean, yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, exactly. I definitely know Jesus, and amazing. Let's see. But yeah, with all the government stuff, for sure, dude. I mean, it just looks gross. It's getting grosser and grosser by the day. But all you can do is pray about it. I made a 5,550 on a day of AA just so I could say I did. I only did it with $25 because RH literally told us not to FOMO day one. My point at the time was the Bitcoin had not even been out for 15 years ago. And dude, that's one of the things that we say too, Clairvoyant. One of the things that me and Johnny talked about. It's like, that's why I called it a Hail Mary. It's like, dude, Bitcoin hasn't even been out for 15 years. You think that this thing's going to be around? It might. That'd be great, but I'm not going to stake, a bajillion dollars, $1 million for 15 years. Now, if that's, 0.5% of your bag and you want to stake it for 15 years, go right ahead. I think that's fine. But if you're some guy that's, rolling around on $1,000 and you're going to stake 900, and you're like, I got to feed the kids tomorrow. This one's going to be crazy. But I'm going to put $900 in for 15 years and I'm going to feed my kids tomorrow because those T-shares, and you just don't understand it. And yeah, that's your own fault, I guess, because you probably should know. But anybody promoting 15 years is not more than Hail Marys, or just that's a very long time horizon. 15 years. Don't be stupid, right? They both dress like our age during our age marketing. Tough to tell them apart. Who's that? I don't know. RH said, don't FOMO day one. Me, FOMO day one. Yeah, me too, Goblin. Day 1 and day 2. Day 1 and day 2 is where I wrecked myself because I put in 75% of all of the money that I was going to put in. 100% smart move on God, Hexo. True. Thank you, Bruce Lee. Yes, imagine you can't. Okay, let's see. If he got his human rights, freedom of speech trampled on, then he could actually sue them for a human rights violation. True. But, you know, yeah, I don't know. Someone get Hex Jesus in there. We need him, yeah. All right, it said don't FOMO day one. Okay, let me see. I buy a rainbow spinner hat. I bought this hat for $5. I tell people they can go and buy this same hat for $5. I talk about how much I like rainbow spinner hat and it features SEC. No, yeah, dude, that is it's exactly like that. It's like, how about I can just be a grown adult, and if Richard's thing scams people out, look, the SEC gets people after the fact anyway. Look at FTX. It wrecked itself, not because of the SEC. They were in talks with them. Guess what? It wrecked itself because it was making promises that it couldn't pay for, right? Is that... I know it was BitConnect. I can't remember if FTX did the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it did, right? Celsius and FTX, and they couldn't pay the creditors, right? It's all, you know, I've been here for so long. It's just like, it's the same thing over and over again. Where these creditors, they're not going to be able to get paid because they, you know, it's just the same things. Ponzi schemes left and right. And I get it. But your SEC goes after, you know, tries to sue them or get them in trouble after the fact. So why aren't they doing it over here, right? When Hex goes to zero, then sure, yes, you can sue Richard Hart's little pants off. I don't care, because I don't have no money anyway. But let's just let it do its thing, and then if it freaking gets wrecked, then sure. But guess what? It can pay out the 38%. I don't know if it's 38% anymore. A year if you stake it for like 5 years or whatever it is. It can do that because it pays itself. It's not paying you in USD. It's not paying you in ETH. By the way, if you buy something and it's trying to pay you out in something else that it can't mint itself, it is a Ponzi scheme. Okay. So if you get into freaking Tweezer coin, because I got some tweezers right here. If you get into Tweezer coin and they say, if you buy 100 Tweezer coin, you're gonna, and you stake it, you can get 1 ETH every week. That is a Ponzi scheme because they're not going to be able to print the ETH. They have to get more people to give them the ETH. And at some point, people will stop buying it and the ETH, it's just going to come unglued, right? Okay. That's a Ponzi scheme. It's where they can't pay the investors. All right. Hex can pay the investors no matter what. Hex could be at 100 zeros, 1, and it would still pay out Hex 3.69% inflation every single year to the stakers. Okay. As long as the code is working, which it is, and it's not stopped ever, it continues to pay out people every single day, and it's not a Ponzi. So I think it's gross that they're trying to go after the things that are actually working instead of bad actors like FTX or Celsius that are actual Ponzi schemes, and they get them after the fact. Celsius was verbatim BitConnect minus the mention of black box bot. Okay. What's up, lights out? FTX user funds and lost it while trading. That's right. Okay. Pouring out for the day one FOMO sexuals. Yeah. You guys are idiots going into the AA lobby on day one. All right. Said not to. I went in on day 2. Yeah. Let's see. Day 3. Day 3 was not too bad, I don't think. Day 1 and 2 were pretty wrecked among them. It was funny because I was about to cry on the first day because literally I FOMO'd in and I got like 500,000 hex or something like that. It might have been less than that. It might have been like 200,000. But I remember seeing it on the Videsk. Was it Videsk or something? One of these exchange that it's not around anymore. But this exchange that it was like, oh, you know, and it was at $1 a coin. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm rich. And it literally was there for like 2 minutes. And then it was like 2 coins got sold for $1. And then it went down 99.99%. And then I got the realization, because as much as you guys think of it now as Hex is like, well, no shit, dude. Of course it was going to get paid out for the rest of the year. Like, I was not the smartest of people, I guess, with it. I was a noob in crypto, kind of. I mean, I've been there since 2016, but this was an all new crypto. And I remembered it was like, oh, you're going to pay out 556 million tokens a day for the rest of the 360 whatever days, 341 or something. So it was like, I remember like right when it went down to 99%, I was like, oh yeah. That was a dumb move. What are you doing? I went down every day. Yeah, Johnny Sam. Let's see. I went in every single day. Yeah, I think I went in the first 100 days because I dollar cost averaged, and then I think I ran out of money. My plan was to DCA 0.1 ETH per day for the full year of Hex launch. It's too bad I stopped when he started recycling. I just became too skeptical that RH was just trolling me while taking my money. Yeah, I could see that. And dude, I was very I was scared there for a while, especially when that Peter Gurr or the Wise token guy, as his name is, or whatever, and his name is Peter. But when he started saying that he was contacting the SEC and he was in contacts with the SEC lawyers and government agencies, I was freaked out. And plus, I lived in a shady neighborhood, and so one morning, this is the night before, I was like praying that I wouldn't get in trouble, literally. And the next morning, I get a knock on the door, and I look through the people, and it's the cops, and I was like, oh no, this is it for me. Take me, just take me now. So I opened the door and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, your neighbor over there, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember, but they, if you guys remember, I lived next to a motorcycle gang back in the day. And, I can't remember what they asked, but I was like, oh my gosh, I just escaped death on that one. I thought it was over for me. I thought they were taking me away. I was like, yep, just take me now. I'm not, pleading the fifth on this one, copper. Just take me now. I'm not going to say anything. I should have just opened it up and stated that before you even said anything. Just take me now. Richard Hart is free, free Richard Hart and Hexo. But it turned out it was just my next door neighbor. I probably should have. Yeah, Crypto Nightly. Where is the effing clown? I saw him the other day. He's still promoting Wise, which is funny. The Market Watch protected investors from Peter and the gang from dumping on retail. True. When you miss selling the top multiple times. Yeah. Sub Hexo just got here. What's the quick TLDR summary of the current state of RH case? Really nothing, CR. I mean, if you read it, just read the statements. They're not long reads. They're probably 5 minutes. But one of them is pretty much slapping the SEC around. The SEC is trying to, accuse Richard of doing all these other things, which is, when I was reading it, I was like, oh man. But when you read Richard's lawyer's case, it's like, dang, dude, they don't, I'm not a lawyer, so I have no idea. But it sounds kind of like they're just joking around. They're like joking around, like, you guys, really? This is what you want? So I think that's better than nothing. Peter and the game. Okay, let's see. AA minted those coins. You got your percentage of the daily mint if you entered that day. Yes, exactly. It was all, an automated market thing. So, and yeah. Damn F meth bikers. Yeah, exactly. On his knees nightly. Yes. At least he had no bullets. Who? Let's see. The bear market is rough, man. That AA countdown video got me all emotional the other day. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good time, man. Those are the good days. D-Live. I mean, dude, we're going to look back and these are going to be the good days too. Oh, remember the bear market, blah, blah, blah. It's rough right now. I mean, we all have that FUD in us, right? That I don't think that for me, this is personally, I don't have the FUD that any of Richard's products are going to get hacked. I don't think that they're going to have a misstep or something breaks on them. With Pulse and Pulse Chain, if something does, I guess we could, fix it. There's fixes. But with Hex, it's ran for however many days, 1,600 days, and it's flawless. So it's like, that's one of those things where I don't worry about that. That FUD is came and gone, where it's like, the big payday was the big one where I was like, dude, if this is going to break, it's going to break on the big payday where this code doesn't, compile or whatever when it's done after the big payday. Once the big payday happened, it's like, okay, now it's just doing exactly what it did for the last few years. Right. So the FUD for me is gone once the SEC stuff is gone. I mean, maybe there's something else, but really, it's like, dude, once the SEC FUD is gone and, you know, we get a crypto-friendly president, I think that's just a recipe for crazy green candles, crazy, you know, just amazing price appreciation. You know, I think that if things go our way, obviously that's going to be what happens. And right now might be the lows. I don't even know. You know, I as I've said before, October 24th. I don't know if we're going to hear anything, if it's going to be anything. I think it's going to be just like how it is right now. If it was any kind of news, prices would be either down or up, right? Nothing. We're not going anywhere today. It's 0% across the board. And I think that October might be more like that. And even if there is like a motion to dismiss, I really think that the crypto markets in general, not to say that we won't pump a little bit, and I'm saying like 4, 5, 6x, you know, get us back to a penny, 2 pennies, which would be great, obviously. But I'm saying like back to all-time highs, we need a crypto-friendly president. Some people might disagree, you know, oh, I hate Trump, so I'm going to vote against myself. But I'm a one single issue voter, and I know, you know, he's been the most friendly person to crypto, so it's like, dude, that's what I'm gonna vote for. I don't even care what, you know, if people want to hate on me, and I'd rather promote that than the other person. Flawless immutable code, exactly. Anyone who got anything from the any day of the AA is up. True. Are they really? Wow. Clairvoyant. The thing that made the most money for random hexagons was the Uniswap airdrop. True. It turned out to be more valuable than most originally put in. True. Very true. I like how the SEC blamed Richard for the dump that they... Dude, I lights out. Yeah, you read that too? Yeah, we read that earlier. Where they're like, and it's pretty much a valueless token now. It's like, because you idiots wanted to sue the code. And Richard Hart, you know, it was sitting at around 4 or 5 cents, which was like, yeah, it's an 80 or 90% dip from 50%. Which I think that we could all, you know, if we were 4 or 5 cents now, that 10x from where we're at, I think we'd be all, you know, we might be a little irritated and perturbed with people, but I don't think we'd have as much FUD and hate that we have in the community as we do now, right? If we were sitting at 4 or 5 cents, you know, we're 90% down from 4 or 5 cents, if that means anything for me. So yeah, the SEC FUD, just, you know, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. You count a percentage. Okay, let's see. The FUD was always bullish. True. They tried to get him again today. No, they didn't. Did they really? We just need RH streaming every day. LOL. Yeah, I honestly don't think that we need him. You know, I think that it is great, but as Sickly said, I think that, you know, there's thousands of us that have his crypto knowledge now, and we don't need Richard to promote it. Now, Richard is his own personality, right? He's somebody that he's got a mindset. He's well, he can debate. He's well more versed than, you know, myself, you know, the little bumbling idiot on the screen. But yeah, I mean, would I like him to stream? Sure, but I don't think we need him to stream, honestly. The new RH doc, new teat. What? Too bad we can't vote for Trump in Belgium. Well, everybody else votes for him. Why not? I mean, there's dead people in my cemetery that voted for him. So let's see. I tried to get AI to draw me a Gensler pointing at the hex chart saying I did that. Maybe you can hex it. Well, have you tried on Google or on Twitter? Twitter would probably do it. Grok, but all right, guys. Well, that's it. I'm trying to stream when there's news now because I'm so busy. I really am busy, and I'm sorry that I'm not streaming as much as I have been. But really, it's so like we're all, I don't want to pump too much. Like, this is gonna happen. It's like nobody knows what's gonna happen, and I don't want to come on here and tell you guys what's gonna happen when I have no idea. So I'm trying to, we'll stream 2 times a week, but if I'm not trying to escape the crypto matrix. I'm just trying to get my business working so I can start putting some money into the Hex ecosystem. The dead only vote Democrat. True. You guys could see the picture of Satoshi wanting to call Bitcoin Titcoin. What? Like does he with the chat? Like he does with the chat. True. Yes. Right. We just need some more Richards people who can debate. True. When straw that broke the camel back. Oh, yeah. Token. All right, guys. You guys have a great one. I will see you guys on the next one. You guys are amazing. Keep up the positive vibes. Again, guys, we have to, I think that this is detrimental to the Hex ecosystem. This last thing, and we'll go. I'll let you guys go. Okay? Class is not dismissed. But hold on. Hextron gave you the $2. These are more than streams. These are OG retreats. True. Yes. This is where we come and all cry in each other's breasts. So, one of the big things that I got from Jordan Peterson is that you have to have a target, right? You have to have a target to aim for. If you don't have a target, you're just going to be all just like, you're just going to be shooting wherever. And it's one of those things where you've got to keep positive, right? We've got to keep positive. We got to start, stop saying, oh, well, blah, 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 it's wrecked. And blah. There's people out there that are very negative, continuing to be very negative. And it's just like, dude, I just either block them or mute them out of my Twitters, because it's like, dude, I don't want to hear your freaking negativity. Let's all try to be positive. When again, with the OG retreats, you're saying that as an OG, and I think a lot of us here are OGs. We need to realize that we were talking about 50-cent Hex, $1 Hex, $2 Hex, $3 Hex, and everybody was poo-pooing on us. Oh, it'll never go there. It's never going to go there. Guess what? It did go to 56 cents, and none of us were expecting it to go to 50 cents, right? We all just had hope. We had a target set that we wanted to actually aim for, and it was something higher than it is. Everybody thinking, oh, we're just going to go to a 2 pennies and then it's going to be dead, or 3 pennies. It's like, dude, this is crypto. It can get crazy really quick. And usually this is one of those things where I say don't trade, because, if you're out of the pool for more than like 3 months, 4 months, you're going to get wrecked. Because everybody's going to get freaking, most of the movement happens in a 3 to 6 month period, and then it comes right back down. And then you have to wait for 3 years, and then it goes back up, right? You should be dollar cost averaging in the bear markets and buying, dollar cost averaging in the bear markets. OG from day one. Good thing. Good on you, Pixel. Hexkins buying and sending Hexo lemons all night. Illegal. Yes, I've countered the I've taken all of the lemon. I've got my whole stash, and I'm not gonna let anybody have them. Let's see. Hex hit 1 penny. OMG, that was crazy. It was crazy. Hex to $11. Yes. But, I've seen some people that are like, you guys are idiots for saying this. It's like, dude, we had a target, and we were all trying to promote something, right? We were trying to promote the thing. We were trying to get it out there and tell people this is amazing. It could, look at the supply. Look how much less the supply is going to be on here. Look at all of this. It could get to these prices. Obviously, don't make guarantees. Don't tell people that it is going to go to a certain price. Just be like, for me, it's like, dude, I would like to see 50 cents again. $1 is a big one for all of us. I think $1, it was like a penny first, 10 cents was great, but really $1 is where I want to see it. I'll die a happy man when it hits $1, after it hits $1. But let's see. All right, my wife just texted me. She was like, the kids are driving her crazy up there because I make them go upstairs like Anne Frank. So I'll let you guys go. You guys have a great one. Thank you guys. Hit the likes, comment down below what you guys think right after this. Just hit the comments, and